Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality in a way that is extremely empowering. Speaking of exploring powerful perspectives, I'm super excited to announce the release of my very first book, The Golden Key: Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance. If you're ready to alchemize the circumstances in your life so that your abundance expands to an entirely new level in 2021, head over to goldenkey.gift to download the audio or ebook as my gift to you by using the code POSITIVEHEAD.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome one and all. I'm so grateful that you have all joined us today. Samantha, I am so grateful to have you with me today. How are you today?
I am feeling great. There's a lot of crazy things happening all over the place. It's just such a wild time. Like always. When is it not a wild time? But definitely right now, it feels extra strange.
Yeah, this time does feel extra strange on a variety of different levels. And what we were talking about right before we started recording today was how our internal environment is reflecting in our external environment. And so that's a really interesting thing to think about. So tell us what went on with you this week.
Yeah. So a little pre-story is I often feel that I set off things in my environment. For instance, when I'm really upset, the just car alarms will start to go outside of my house, or a crazy thunderstorm will start to happen kind of out of nowhere that I was unsuspecting. And I noticed that this used to happen quite a lot, like with electricity and power outages. And this week, what happened in our house was, at first our sink got clogged out of nowhere. So our sink got clogged out of nowhere, and I was like, okay, well, that happens. The sink gets clogged. Then a few days later, I noticed that the water got all clogged and started to flood. And I'm like, okay, that maybe there's just something with the drainage in the house. But then I started to notice that one of my plants had all mold in the soil. And then I went to look at the other plant in a different room, and it was all rotting as well. And then it started to click. There was mold in my plants. There was a backup in the water system. And I started to ask myself what was going on in my life. And I had just gone for a colonic, and my colonic practitioner had said, Sam, like, your emotions are very much backed up. Your whole system, all of your pipes are completely backed up. And as she was saying this, it all clicked for me. Emotions are the element of water, right? And sitting water, or unprocessed, like right when water sits, well, what happens? Bacteria builds up, mold can happen. And I realized, wow, okay, what's going on in my body is being reflected in my home.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such an interesting point because when we aren't processing our emotions, when we are not even recognizing our emotions, they just become stagnant within us. And when we're not paying attention, one of the earliest cues before it comes to the body can be your external environment. And you are not the only person who I've heard lately that has had problems with pipes and leakages and things backing up. And I think what's so neat about this too, it's the energy that's present in the world right now. It's
Mm.
just what we're being called to do is like, all right, no more of this. Let's clean it all up. Let's get rid of it. We can't move forward in stagnancy, right?
Yes, it's okay. As we're speaking, more and more is clicking into place. So a week and a half ago, we found out that we had water in our electricity pipe, which is not normal. There's not supposed to be water in the electricity pipe. And
Right,
then
that
we
sounds
had,
pretty dangerous,
yeah,
actually.
it's
Yeah.
not the greatest. And then we had our patio redone. And as we were washing the patio, it turns out that somehow our neighbor underneath us, our patio drained in and flooded one of their bedrooms. And
Oh
so,
no.
yeah, which is awful, and we had to get insurance involved and whatnot. But that's just two other things that I didn't even put together in this puzzle of these pipes and this water and the backlog and the, the not draining properly. So
Yeah.
very interesting.
And that's a really good point too, because when we are not taking care of ourselves, we are also not taking care of others, right? And we don't even realize how much what we do is affecting the whole, because we are one with all of it. And so your neighbor was directly affected, right? I mean, not to put that on you, I don't mean to make you feel
Yeah,
bad, but
no,
like
she
this is
was.
just
Yeah.
how it reflects in the environment around us. And when you think about it like that, for me, it's this motivation to really take care of my own shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
big time, because I don't want what I'm doing to affect the whole, right? Not in a negative way. If it's in a positive way, of course I do, right? And that's always going to be the way it is. Yeah. And no matter what is the element, we can always relate that to an emotion, right? And I think right now it's winter, it's the water element time. And so, yeah, it's time to process the emotions.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And, for people that have not got on board with the body holds the score and the body is a reflection of the emotions, as I was there having my process being done, most people, my colonic practitioner told me that most people end up crying when they get a colonic done, and
Oh,
not because
yeah.
it's painful, but because when you store, whatever you're storing in your body, whether it's physical or not, as the physical leaves, that not normally the emotion that's being held as well goes with it. And so as I was going through my process, I started to just burst into tears thinking about my grandmother and thinking about my mom and thinking about different things. And I didn't even know in that moment. I went in super happy. But throughout this process, my practitioner said, Sam, you're holding on to a lot. And, you probably need to take more time to process and to grieve.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
makes sense.
absolutely. And especially when, you try to be strong during times when times are hard, and you try to kind of power through it, and you think you're all right, but you're really not taking the time to process, then it just gets stored and you don't even realize that's what's happening. But then when our body has that little tool to push us to help us release, then it all comes flowing. And that's so beautiful, because the tears, I just had a session, I think it was just last week maybe, where they were talking about how cleansing crying is.
Hmm.
It just, and of course it is, right? It's just releasing all of that emotion. And
Yeah.
then it helps you actually, and through the eyes. So it helps you even see it more clearly. And
I
that's
find
pretty
it
cool.
so cathartic to cry.
Yeah.
Just like, oh yeah, I can feel it. Sometimes my body and my stomach and in my chest feels like this ball of tension. And then I get agitated. I feel like, oh, like I just want to rip my skin off. Like I gotta just escape from this feeling trapped, or I often feel buried alive. That's a strong emotion I feel often. And what I need to do is tune in and ask, okay, what is this pressure? What am I feeling? And often I just need to cry. I just need to get out the emotion or the buildup, often the anxiety or the worry or the overwhelm, and just release it. And then, oh, you feel so calm afterwards.
So calm. And it's interesting too how often we want to fight back our tears and we don't want to cry, you know? And I'm not sure what that is really, because it does feel so good, right?
Yeah.
What do you think that is? That,
Conditioning.
yeah,
Yeah.
but when you're alone, even,
Oh. Hmm. Yeah, I think it's just painful. It's just
Yeah,
like
that's what I was just thinking, like that, just not
uncomfortable.
wanting to feel the pain, which is what, gets you in that place in the first place where you really need to just release it all in a big way.
Yeah. Yeah, I love crying.
Yeah.
But, a lot of people that know me think I'm like super strong, super happy, super all the things, which I am. And I think because I cry a lot. I probably cry once every 2 days, even if it's just a little cry. I'm just very, very sensitive, and to everything, to lights, to sounds, to stimulus, to feelings. I am so empathetic, and I just feel things greatly. And and for me, just having a release in that way really resets my system.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I haven't always been an easy crier, but in the last few years, it's like every little thing, because I'm the same way, very sensitive. And every little thing, I feel it so deeply. And so the tears aren't always from sadness. A lot of times they're from, happiness and bliss, or proudness. A lot of times it's proudness.
Mm.
And that's a fun one. But yeah, crying is really good. It's one of the best emotional releases. Yeah, for sure.
Before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a moment to tell you a little bit about my very first book, The Golden Key: Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance. The concept for the book initially came to me in a dream and has been followed by a next level amount of synchronicity, confirming for me that the information in the book is pertinent to get to the world at this moment in our collective evolution. In the book, I share the 8 keys to manifesting abundance that I've personally discovered over 25 years of trial, error, and deep exploration, including one golden key that ultimately ties them all together. I think most of you will agree with me that talk is a bit cheap, especially these days, and results speak the loudest of all. Well, these keys have led me to manifesting incredible results, such as an Inc. fastest growing private company, uncanny health, incredible relationships, and success with this podcast. However, I'm not any more special than you, and anyone can apply this information to achieve incredible results in their own life. I also believe waking up our planet by sharing these keys to abundance is the quickest way to help us to transition our home into the planet of paradise it is destined to become. Which is why I'd like to gift the book to you at goldenkey.gift when you use the golden key code POSITIVEHEAD. I would also like to invite you to create your own unique golden key code so you in turn can gift the book to others, as well as invite you to participate in a unique abundance manifestation game with me and the other readers that is outlined in detail at the end of the book and on the website, where readers are also going to share the inspiring results of their abundance manifestation experiments. Lastly, I'm going to practice what I preach by sharing 50% of the abundance generated from the golden game and sale of the other golden goodies on the website with you and all the other readers. So if you're ready to alchemize the circumstances in your life so that your abundance expands to an entirely new level, head over to goldenkey.gift to download the audio or ebook as my gift to you by using the code POSITIVEHEAD. Also, if you end up loving and appreciating your gifted copy of the book, please take a moment to go to Amazon and give it a review, which will greatly help me reach and unlock more hearts with the golden key.
One of my favorites too is laughter.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have the most amazing emotional release of laughter sometimes, and it feels so, so good.
I agree. Yeah, laugh therapy is something that I dabbled in a little bit as I was going through school in holistic nutrition. And tapping on your thymus gland, which is right between your neck and your chest bone, and just tapping on it, turning your lips up into a smile and forcing yourself to laugh at the beginning. It feels so awkward and uncomfortable. However, once you get into it and you start the laugh going, it is so contagious. If you're doing it with a group of people, you would literally just be bent over in tears because you're laughing so hard. And what that does is it stimulates your positively stimulates your nervous system. It stimulates your hormones. It helps create new happy hormones, and it really does release the anxiety and the tension energy that can be built up in your system.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. I love that so much. So let's talk about emotions and stuffing them and how we can really work through these troubling times that we all go through in life. Where none of us get away from it, right? There's always going to be something that comes up in life. And so what do you think is the best way for us to go through and actually deal with and really look at and be aware at our emotions as we're going through this so we don't stuff them and we're not, you know, sitting in stagnancy.
Yeah, I believe that the first thing is to be aware that emotions are things and there are energies that are meant to flow through your body, but they often get stuck in the body. And so, one, know that it's important to process your emotions. Two, create the time space to do that. Where when something comes up, you say, okay, I'm going to take out 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes where I can just be with this. Ooh, what is this feeling? Why did I get so triggered there? Why do I feel like I want to cry? Why do I want to feel like I want to rip somebody's head off? Like, what is this that's going
Yeah.
on? And ask the question and be in the inquiry And then without trying to use your mind to come up with the idea or the answer, just allow the answers and the feelings to flow through your body. And then I find for me, naming it is really helpful. Like, oh, I'm feeling this tension in my stomach right now. And I'm naming this as anxiety. And oh, I'm anxious because of all these things that I need to do. Oh, okay. And as I'm just
Yeah.
naming through it, it's very, very calming.
Yeah, because it helps you understand why. It's
Yeah.
not like this thing that's happening to you. It's this thing that's happening for you to help you understand how to process whatever is going on, right? And another thing that I like to do later is to look at where else in my life has this popped up and where has this pattern happened, before, because these are all things that are just lessons and ways to teach us how to balance ourselves and balance our emotions, right? And I
Mm.
think that that's also a really helpful tool, is to look back at those patterns within your own life and how you've handled it before, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And then some of the ways I like to move emotion, if I need to do something more physical, is you can do anything very masculine, like boxing or hardcore, like jujitsu or running or weight training, where it's like really in your yang energy. Or you can do dancing or
Yeah.
yoga, where you're like slowly moving and undulating and, or like wiggling it out. And that feels really nice too. And sometimes it's screaming into a pillow. It
Yeah.
depends. It's asking my body, like, how does my body need to express and move this energy?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I love that way. And two, I think a big way for me always comes down to meditation. I think when I've been like the most depressed or I've just been feeling at my lowest, the thing I'm called to do is to just sit and be quiet, is to just sit in meditation. And I always feel better. And it's something that like I learned to do just on my own as a kid. When I was having those really tough times, I remember sitting at my parents' house and just going outside and just closing my eyes and just being quiet. And it made the world of difference, you know?
Mm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's a big one.
Yeah, yeah. For me, when I feel the emotion I feel the most often is just overstimulated,
Mm,
and where I'm at my max bandwidth. And so, what I need to do is I just need to be complete silence, complete pitch black. So, I put on an eye mask, I put in earplugs, I lay in bed, like, no clothes on me, nothing. I just lay there with my blanket on, and I'm in complete stillness, zero stimulation. And for me, it's like turning your computer off and leaving it off for a
hmm.
few minutes and then restarting it. It's just setting it back at 0 point. And that is what my nervous system needs for me to feel that little reboot and reset.
Yeah. And it's also how we allow our pipes not to get full, right?
Yeah, yeah. Back to the pipes and back to the plants.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, yeah, a plant, you need to give it needs a certain amount of water, right?
Hmm.
And it needs to completely utilize all of that water before you add more to it. But if you just keep adding more and more and more, well, yeah, it's going to completely get soggy and rot. And we have to use that literal analogy, just like us. We are very much similar to plants. We're not that
Yeah, we are.
that different. And so, you know, when we have emotions that come up, it's really important to not just stuff them down and continue on our day or weeks or months or years, because that is rotting within us. And I believe that that's where illness comes in. That's where dis-ease
Yeah.
comes in. That's where all of these infections and viruses and all of the different things that happen, because we are energetically backed up.
Yeah. Well, you can consider illness and disease as that mold growing within you. That's kind of gross, but that's essentially it's those emotions that are just stagnant and icky and moldy. And that's all it really is. And if we learn how to process them more easily as we're going through them, and over time, this does get, I feel like, a little easier, although we get different lessons along the way, but the more we sit with them and understand them and try to learn from them, I think that's the biggest thing. What did you learn from it? If you can always ask yourself, what did I learn? Then you're getting somewhere, right? And you're not going to be as stagnant in that way because you are learning and because you are balancing.
Yeah, absolutely. So because my plant can't really process so much, what I did, if anyone's curious, if you have moldy plants, you can actually add essential oils to them, which is really cool. Add some tea
Really?
tree,
Yeah,
add some tea tree water, spray it on the soil. You can add
that makes
cinnamon
sense.
or cinnamon
Hmm.
oil. It's funny, it's the same things that are antibacterial for us are antibacterial for plants. So for humans, you can also use plant medicines to clear up some of the molds and some of the infection, but you definitely want to make sure that you're giving yourself the time and the space to let those emotions, let that water run its course, dry up so that you are fresh and ready to go. And just on top of the process of processing the energy and the feelings so that you can be a whole, healthy, integrated human.
Yeah. And also, too, I feel like, when we're not holding all this back, all of our stuff in, then we're going to be so much lighter. And that's also what this energy right now that is present is calling us to do, is to lighten up,
Yeah.
right? We can't move forward with our dense selves and with all of our mold, so so yeah.
Mold
Leave
free
the mold.
living with
Yes.
Erica and Samantha.
Gross. Yeah. So, we have to leave all that behind in order to move forward and to, increase our vibration, which is what we're doing. And I love that we're being forced to do it right now. Whether we like it or not, this is what's happening. And so let's do it. Let's do it right and get it done so we can move forward. Yeah.
I'm in, Erica. I am in. Thank you so much for allowing me to share this very strange and yet eye-opening story with you.
Yeah, I love it. I love that these things that happen to us in our lives can really turn into a concept that helps the whole.
Mm-hmm.
It's the whole point, right?
That's it.
I love you, Samantha. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to leave you with a song.
This is Ailenario Waterfall.
Until next time, we love you all.
We love you.
Also, before we cue up today's song, as a quick reminder, don't forget to download the Golden Key audio or ebook as my free gift to you at goldenkey.gift using the Golden Key code POSITIVEHEAD. And please, if you enjoy my gift, leave a positive review on Amazon so others can unlock their lives with the help of the Golden Key as well.
Baby, this place is crazy. You gotta hold on. You gotta stand up tall. And when this fire, it tries to change us, we let it in. Quicksand, becoming fountain, becoming open, becoming joy and pain into this ocean, this holy moment, you dive in. But take a look at me now, I am a shadow dancing with light. I am a freedom falling like rain. I am the love you gave. Coming on down the bend, ain't nothing gonna stop me now. Whenever I call your name, you're coming like a waterfall, and I'm singing you through the night. On every breath you've given, riding on waves of time, making my way, making my way. Making my way, making my way, making my way. Error, becoming pious, becoming righteous, becoming fallen grace into this garden. We're cast as children to begin. Listen, the winds are changing, the water's rising, the compass points us home. And are we moving? And are we choosing to stay away? Take a look at me now, I am a wild wind in the night. I am a little my shine.